It's a population that experts say is often left out of conversations surrounding family and intimate partner violence. 2S LGBTQ plus communities have a long history of facing injustices and violence. For some, that is happening in their own home. On the last day of our Behind Closed Doors series, emerging calls to prioritize disrupting this violence.
Historically, violence within LGBTQ plus relationships was invisible. It wasn't always recognized.
The stats are varied for 2S LGBTQ plus communities, but one Alberta-based organization tells us anywhere between 25 to 80% of people experience violence in their relationship.
A lot of the research historically on partner violence has focused on heterosexual couples where there's usually cisgender man and woman.
Which means there are still many unknowns about the experiences of victims and survivors who have lived through family and intimate partner violence. But that is slowly changing.
Violence happens in all kinds of relationships, including in LGBTQ plus relationships. So recognizing that and validating that experience for survivors of partner violence in LGBTQ plus relationships is really important.
Most recently, a team of researchers, including from Acadia University, carried out a major research project surrounding the experiences of 2S LGBTQ plus people who experienced violence at home, finding that the pandemic is heightening vulnerabilities and risk factors.
Those who are doubly marginalized appear to be at heightened risk for experiencing violence in their relationships, especially those who are belonging to a racial minority group.
The group still has a lot of data to sift through, but already notes that 42% of LGBTQ2S plus individuals who had to move back home during the pandemic were impacted. A quarter of them said they experienced less freedoms, and over 17% said their safety and security were changed as a result, some feeling like they had to hide their identity, unable to express themselves, with unsupportive families.
That's certainly going to have an impact on the individual's overall mental well-being. We suspect that this may also increase risk for conflict within the family.
But again, experts say the majority of victims don't report. Not surprising here, since there's been high levels of distrust with police for decades.
Canada as a system and our justice system was not set up at all to support members of the 2S LGBTQ communities. In fact, if anything, it was set up to other them in society and push them out of society.
Social services play a key role, but there are more barriers for these groups looking to access supports, and that is dangerous.
You're more likely to stay in the abusive relationship for longer. Or take the abuse, or internalize the abuse, or assume that you're accountable for the abuse.
They deal with homophobia, sexism. There's fear that they would be outed, their experiences wouldn't be understood, believed, or they don't fit the mold of a mostly binary perspective.
Someone might find themselves wanting to seek services, but being told both by male-identified services and female-identified services that they don't fit. And then where are they supposed to go?
That's where Rainbow Ready is looking to make meaningful change, a collective including Sagacy that works with governments, police services, and organizations to address the root causes of these barriers, instead making these spaces safe and inclusive for all.
We are all partners in eradicating and ending domestic violence and addressing it. This is not a behind closed doors issue.
Now, we just hit the 1-year mark of this pandemic, and experts are reminding Canadians that people continue to live in isolation. So to check up on each other, whether that be a quick text, a phone call, or a video chat. In Toronto, I'm Faiza Amin for City News. If you are in immediate danger, call 911. If you're being victimized by your partner or targeted by a family member, help is out there. Call any of the numbers on your screen right now or visit our website, citynews.ca, for a full list of resources.